Hello, I'm Redshirt Down, and welcome to my new series, Deep Analysis, where I take a look at your cubes. You're getting my first looks into the cubes, and I'll try to make suggestions based around your constraints. Today we have a Artifact Peasant cube, and they write, the first one is my main cube and also the first I ever built. It's a Peasant cube that weaves artifact synergies across all 5 colors. I didn't want it to be full of Artifact Matters cards that only work in the right deck. Instead, I leaned into classic archetypes that happen to overlap, sure. Other colors touch on artifacts in different ways, not something you're forced into, something I'd like to have. Cube's been a hit with my friends, so it sounds like you're already pretty good there. Trimming down the number of differently named mechanics to help things not overwhelming, sure. Trying to keep archetypes balanced and tuned, okay with power outliers like Lightning Bolt, but not value engines, and they're in Peasant. Okay, so that's great. So now we know we're going to look for cards within a £2 budget and commons, uncommons only, and try to keep it around artifacts. There are already a couple thoughts I'm having in my head that I'm hoping they've already put in, but if not, those will be easy suggestions. So let's dive into it. This is Artifact Cube version 6, designed by Curssis. Artifacts enter the battlefield, graveyard value, sacrifice, modified, +1/+1 counters, reanimate, prowess, filling the graveyard, modular, and then big mana. Okay. Not meant to be optimized for earlier versions, originally inspired by the Pauper Artifact Tuber. So he's inspired by a different creator, which is totally fine, but then they want to make it their own. So let's see what we've got. Okay. So the first thing I'm seeing is that they have the same amount of lands and multicolored spells. And this is one of my gaffes. Gold, aggro, fixing. A lot of times when people are building cubes, they run too many gold cards, not a problem here, or they put too few lands, the fixing, and that is a problem. We want to add some more fixing into this list. And they sometimes don't support aggro well enough. So I'm going to take a look over this list. We're going to try to judge the aggro, but right away I see they have 30 lands. I'd like to see 50 or 60. That's just me. I like to be able to cast my spells. I found like 50 or 60 is very good for 2 colors and a splash. It's not so generous as to be like, you can play 5-color good stuff, but it also lets you just kind of shape things around. You have your 2-color archetype, but I kind of want to add in a 3rd color just for a bit of flavor. Okay, so let's take a look at the 1-drops in red, white, and black. The Mardu tend to be the more aggro colors in Cube. I'm just going to see what they're running. Javelineer is a 1-mana 1/2. Mouser is a 1-mana 1/1. Court Homunculus is going to be a 1-mana 2/2. It's never going to be a 1/1. Pixie is a 1-mana 1/1, and Thraben Inspector is a 1-mana 1/2. I would like to see in that zone, I'd like to see probably 2 more creatures at 2 power. So what I'm seeing is you got the Novice and Thraben Inspector, sure. Descendant of Storms, that would be a very good. It's going to give you counters. It can give you tokens. I understand that sometimes you don't want to put in too many different token types, but that's a pretty good card. But let's keep looking. Again, Recruitment Officer, another awesome 1-mana 2/1. It's just a Savannah Lions with upside. Sometimes it's all you need for an aggro deck to get there. And then Usher of the Fallen. Again, another very easy slot in. It's a 1-mana 2/1 with upside. Could possibly make tokens. Yeah, so I'd pick one Dauntless Bodyguard, another great one. So I'd pick whichever ones you feel most comfortable with and throw 1 or 2 in just to give aggro a little bit of touch there. Speaking of, let's look at red. Darcy, Goblin Blast Runner. Inventors of Presence is a 2/3. Swift Spear is never a 1/2. Rabbit Battery and Voldaren Epicure. So I'm thinking the same thing in red. Let's see what you're allowed to have as red aggro creatures. So Embereth Veteran. I skipped Grease Wrench Goblin just because I know sometimes people don't want to add in that set. But yeah, Grease Wrench Goblin or Embereth Veteran would be very easy cards to add in to just, again, give aggro a little bit more power. Reinforced Ronin 2 can do a lot of work. It's a 1 mana 2/2. You have to bop it back to your hand. It is an artifact, and when it's no longer useful, you can discard a card to flip it. So I would absolutely recommend Reinforced Ronin, and then pick some other 2-power 1-drop for that. Editor Redshirt here. I can't believe I forgot to mention the new red artifact creature from Edge of Eternities. Caravan Harrier is a 1 mana 2/1 that also makes an artifact robot that you then have to sacrifice. It seems to be right up the alley for what you want your red creatures to be doing. That's all. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. Again, just a couple here or there. And then black. Disciple of the Vault would be very good. And I'm kind of surprised you didn't go there, because I don't think it'll be as abusable as it was back in the Mirrored into Fifth Dawn days. So I think that is an instant add, just to up the pressure that an Aristocrats deck can build. But I'm looking for... There it is. Carrion Feeder also might be another good include. It's a 1 mana 1/1 that gets a free sacrifice, and when you sacrifice, you get to put a counter on it. And since you said black and red are already kind of your sacrifice colors, I would like that very much. Now, away from the 1-drops, we're going to look at the other end. The 5s and 5 and more, because that is another area where people who are kind of new to Cube sometimes add too much. Blue is a little expensive, but they've got cost reduction up the wazoo, so it's not a big problem. Black is your reanimate color if they're running it. They're running Unearth, Lively Dirge, okay, Unburial Rites, cool. In this slot, I would like to also see... What's the 4 mana one that... So this is the card I was thinking of, Dread Return. I think Dread Return would be an excellent addition in that slot, because it gives you the sacrifice outlet, plus it can give you a free reanimation as the flashback. And if you're playing it more fairly, it's a 4 mana card at first. So I like that a lot. Timeless Witness. Oh, yeah. I think I would have a blast with this list. Let's take a look at some of the just generic artifacts. We got Bone Splitter, we got Grafted War Gear, Prophetic Prism, Ichor Wellspring. Are they running the new Ichor Wellspring? Okay. There's something else I would suggest is in the new set Edge of Eternities, there's a Ichor Wellspring that's better. So the card I'm thinking of is Cryogen Relic. This card is an all-star in Edge of Eternity's draft format itself. You get the enter and leave draw card, but it also has the ability to sacrifice itself, bringing a stun counter onto something. I didn't notice if you're running any proliferate, but if you are, that would be a really cool way to lock something down too. Yeah. So the couple of things I was looking for were Tough Cookie is an excellent green creature for this type of a build. I'm a little surprised to see none of the X spells up in here for colorless. I think you have a few good options at this. I guess not. Okay, I was wrong. You only really have Ugin's Conjurant. All the other ones I'm thinking of are, I guess, rare. Okay. Oh, I see a Grumgully the Generous. Wondering if they're running Persist combo. Nope. Probably not. What do they have for the... And makeshift munitions. Probably smart. Goblin Bombardment is a little busted. So I like that as a choice. Get a little shout out here for Trash for Treasure, my other YouTube series that I'm running. Coming back next Monday, we're looking at the white cards in it. But also a pretty fun card to run in a cube like this. It can be a little iffy because you are able to reanimate any artifact, including things that are big. And they are running Lightning Bolt, but they're not running... Okay, so here's another thing. And this might just be me as a blue mage, but I think if you're running Lightning Bolt, you need to run Counterspell, just to keep the balance. I know that Counterspell seems a little busted, but I know that it's definitely Pauper legal, so it's got to be Peasant legal. So you have the Lightning Bolt, which is in here as a high power level, but it's a classic. So give blue its classic card too, the blue Counterspell. I might even be okay throwing a Dark Ritual in here. You know, you're not really having anything that seems too unfair, so just throw it in there. See if it works. If it's too unfair, sure, pull it right back out. But I would give it a shot. Okay, Curssis. I think your cube is excellent. You and your group are already having fun with it. Just continue doing what you're doing. I just have a few things I'd like to add. Up the lands. You need to go more than 2 per color pair. At the very least, throw in the Modern Horizons 3 landscapes, I think they're called. The Modern Horizons 3 that fetch for a basic, but also can make mana by themselves. Also, I want to see some 2-power white and red creatures to help feed your aggro decks. Don't have to be too nutty. Definitely look at Reinforced Ronin. That's an artifact, can be pitched when it's no longer useful. 1 mana 2/2. It's fine. Cryogen Relic. It just came out in Edge of Eternities. That card is a better Darksteel Relic. Just trust me on this. That card is nuts. And finally, you gave red its iconic spell, the Lightning Bolt. Give blue Counterspell, and maybe even think about giving black Dark Ritual. That might be a bridge too far, but you can always take it back out again. I think it'd be worth playing with in an environment like this. This cube is awesome. You did a great job, and I would love to sit at this table. But that's just my 2 cents on the matter. So commenters, I throw this to you. What would you add or remove to the cube to make the gameplay better? Leave it down in the comments below. I'm sure that Curssis would love to hear it. If you'd like to be featured in Deep Analysis, send me an email at redshirtdown@gmail.com, subject line Deep Analysis, to get featured on the show. Feel free to add in any context you'd like for me to consider when doing the evaluations. My main series, where I build a cube out of a bulk lot on eBay, is coming out every Monday. And every Friday I'm going to try to have a video like this, where I talk a bit more freely about design or gameplay in Cube. If that sounds interesting to you, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.